And Ariana, your fiancée,
Mm-hmm.
the first time you appeared on Saturday Night Live, she was the guest singer, I guess.
Yeah.
The internet exploded, not with a scandal, but with a surprise. Pete Davidson is about to be a dad. And no, it's not with a Kardashian, not with a pop icon, and definitely not with the ones you thought left a permanent stamp on his soul. It's with model and influencer Elsie Hewitt, a woman the tabloids barely had time to register before the ultrasound headlines started flying. But here's the thing, this baby isn't just news, it's a reckoning. Because behind Pete's goofy charm and puppy dog eyes lies a breadcrumb trail of emotional debris. And trust us, Ariana, Kim, and Cazzie know exactly what kind of storm Elsie might be stepping into. Let's rewind. Pete's relationship history reads like a playlist of Hollywood's most powerful women, but instead of love songs, it's breakup ballads, mental health spirals, and shocking ghosting that nobody saw coming. And now, the man who once said he was too unstable to be a father is diving headfirst into daddy duty. But here's the twist. His past doesn't want to stay buried. It started with Cazzie David, daughter of comedy royalty Larry David. Cazzie wasn't just a girlfriend. She was the blueprint of Pete's emotional support system during his early career rollercoaster. But their breakup, that was pure chaos. Pete reportedly dumped her via text, and days later, he was already flaunting a new relationship with none other than Ariana Grande. Cazzie later revealed she was so devastated she had a full-on panic attack while her ex was writing love songs with a pop superstar. That's not just bad timing, that's emotional whiplash. Then came the Ariana chapter, aka the world's fastest engagement. One minute, they were tonguing each other's faces on red carpets. The next, Pete was tattooing her name across his body like a walking shrine. But when tragedy hit, the death of Ariana's ex, Mac Miller, Pete's over-the-top affection reportedly turned into pressure. Some say he demanded loyalty while Ariana was still grieving. Others whisper he used the spotlight to distract from his own spiraling issues. Their split? Messy, public, and punctuated with a song called Thank You Next that immortalized Pete as a warning. Then came Kim Kardashian, the queen of calculated moves and rebrands. Kim's post-Kanye era was already headline gold. So when she started dating Pete, the funny, heavily tattooed wildcard, fans thought maybe, just maybe, she was going rogue. But what looked like rebellion from Kim was another soft launch into Pete's cycle of whirlwind romance, trauma bonding, and sudden withdrawal. And when it ended, she went radio silent. No messy tweets, no tearful confessions, just disappearance. That's how you know it stung. So now here comes Elsie. Pregnant, glowing, unbothered, or so it seems. Because while Pete smiles for paparazzi and says he's never been happier, you can hear the internet whisper, but what about the others? You don't get to erase heartbreak with baby news. Not when the heartbreak was this loud. And not when the women you left behind are still carrying the receipts, or worse, the scars. So Pete Davidson is going to be a father. But if you think that news made everyone in his rearview mirror smile with joy and say, oh, think again. Because the moment Elsie Hewitt's baby bump hit the algorithm, it didn't just go viral, it detonated a chain reaction. Quiet phone calls, cryptic Instagram captions, and rumors. Oh, the rumors. Because while Elsie was cradling her belly, the exes, they were cradling secrets. Let's start with Ariana Grande, whose fans are now digging up every lyric, every interview, every moment of their rollercoaster relationship to piece together what she really went through. And honey, it's not all bubblegum and ponytails. Sources close to Ariana have whispered, not screamed, that their time together was like living with a man on the edge of a cliff. One foot dangling, the other demanding her full attention. It was intense, it was fast, and it was scary. And now, seeing Pete glowing next to a glowing woman, some say it's reopened wounds Ariana's been stitching for years. And what about Kim Kardashian? She hasn't said a word, but the silence is loud, too loud. People close to the reality empire say Kim found out the baby news not through a phone call, but through a tabloid. Ouch. For someone who values image control more than most politicians, that's a betrayal you don't walk away from. You film it, you document it, you bury it in season 6 of The Kardashians with a dramatic slow pan and some emotional piano. But behind closed doors, that silence is ice cold. You don't cut someone out of your inner circle that hard unless there's more beneath the surface. And then there's Cazzie David, the original heartbreak, the one who reportedly never got closure. When her memoir dropped, it hinted at a man who played with emotions like a boy with firecrackers. Now, she's watching that same man become a father. No apology, no reckoning, just headlines and hashtags. And Cazzie, she's writing, still, quietly, sharply, possibly plotting her next book. Meanwhile, Pete is floating on a cloud, or pretending to, because when you've been through rehab, breakdowns, and the kind of public scrutiny most people wouldn't survive, putting on a happy face is survival mode. But insiders say Pete's already showing signs of retreat, skipping gigs, avoiding interviews, texting exes late at night. Sound familiar? And now, with baby photos on the way, everything is about to get louder. Because this isn't just a love story, it's a revenge arc. And every chapter Pete skipped, every woman he left behind without closure, they're the ones holding the pen now. If you're still watching, here's your moment. Hit that like button if you've ever been ghosted and lived to tell the tale. Drop a comment below if you think Pete's new chapter is redemption or just a repeat with better lighting. And don't forget to subscribe, because here on Ms. Cathy Knows, we spill it hotter than TMZ and deeper than a therapy session. Because let's be real, you don't just date 3 of the most powerful women in Hollywood and think fatherhood will wash your sins clean. No, those sins are tattooed on your neck, on your timeline, and in the DM screenshots your exes never deleted. They're calling it his glow-up era, the redemption arc, the moment Pete Davidson finally steps into the stable man costume Hollywood's been begging him to wear. But let's not get distracted by the soft lighting and daddy-to-be grins. Because beneath the Instagram-worthy pregnancy announcement, there's a shaky foundation shaking harder than a 3 a.m. therapy breakthrough. And if you've been watching Pete long enough, you know what's coming. The spiral, the fallout, and the public apology tour. With receipts, always receipts. Let's get into it. This isn't just a baby story, it's a public pressure cooker. Elsie Hewitt may look calm now, but insiders say she's already starting to feel the burn. You don't step into Pete Davidson's love life. You step into a haunted mansion where every room has a name. Cazzie's breakdown, Ariana's heartbreak, Kim's silent exit. And the ghosts? They don't knock, they tweet, they podcast, they drop poetry books, and Vogue spreads that go viral overnight. You think the past is over, the past is trending. Because while Pete jokes about his trauma on stage, the women who survived him have turned their pain into brands. Cazzie turned hers into a book deal. Ariana spun heartbreak into thank you next and literally reinvented her career. Kim? She walked straight into a lawyer's office and started studying the law like heartbreak was her pregame for world domination. And what's Pete doing? Getting tattoos of SpongeBob and trying not to unravel when the jokes stop landing. The world loves a rebrand, but this feels like a rerun. Same storyline, different cast, and this time a baby on the way. That changes everything, or does it? Because Pete's never been known for stability. He's known for speed, quick love, quicker engagement, and faster exits. His relationships run like a Netflix binge, intense, addictive, and over in a weekend. So when he says he's ready to be a father, some are clapping, but others are raising eyebrows so high they're levitating. Can a man who ghosted his way through Hollywood's most high-profile women really handle diapers, 3 a.m. feedings, and no sleep for a year? But maybe, just maybe, this is the plot twist. Maybe Pete knows he's been the villain in every girl's group chat. Maybe he's done being the punchline and finally wants to rewrite the joke. Maybe Elsie Hewitt isn't just a new chapter. Maybe she's the editor, the one person who tells him, "You can't ghost a baby, Pete." Still, Hollywood's watching with popcorn because this isn't just a baby announcement. It's a test of growth, of guilt, of whether men like Pete ever really change or just find better PR. One thing's certain, with a baby on the way, the script's already written. But whether it's a rom-com, a horror story, or a redemption saga, that's up to Pete, and the women who know him best already saw the trailer. Stay tuned, because this next season of Pete Davidson's life might just be his messiest, most revealing, and most dangerously real yet.